Welcome to the Spiritual Development Channel. I'm Nasi Ashuva, and today we have an awesome discussion. And it's why and how relationships should be ran like a business. But before we get into it, hit that subscribe, turn on your notifications, and share this video. And if you find the information valuable, then hit that like button. We love likes. All right, spiritual developers, let's get directly into it. The biggest decision you're ever going to make in life is choosing a mate. And it's funny because in this world, it's not taught in school, and it's barely even taught inside of the households. But yet, our TV screens are filled with this whole romantic, abstract view of relationships. And I find out that the problem with today's relationships and why they're not successful is because they're over-romanticized. They don't have the logical foundation to allow them to propel in the future. Let's look at the word relationship. It is two people relating one another in a ship going somewhere, progressive. So in a relationship, you have to have a progressive nature about what is going on and set some key things into play. But my father taught me that after all the lust in the beginning of a relationship is gone, that when you strip it to its core essentials, it is a business. Now, we cannot have an emotional-based relationship that doesn't have the logic to support it. So this might not be a conversation for you if you're very emotional and into the whole extremely romantic relationship. But if you're looking for a long-term union with a person that shares priorities and views with you, maybe this might be the lesson for you. All right. First, we're going to go into something that should be done before you get into the relationship. But if you haven't done it before you get into the relationship, you can still apply it now. Is find out what a person's goals are. And see if their goals somehow intertwine and can work harmoniously with your goals. That's very imperative. What is the person's mission statement in life? What are they trying to do? Many of us in our relationships, we're just trying to survive. But what about a person that's trying to change the world or trying to do something greater than what humans have done before? We're trying to make their mark in the world. Find out if the two visions, your vision and the person that you're looking at, visions can work hand to hand. Because if one person is inside somebody else's vision and they don't see their own vision playing out inside of this relationship, then they begin to develop resentment and reject the idea of the relationship. Now, collective goals create stronger bonds. Mutual investments creates cooperative competitiveness. I was watching a college basketball game and I seen one of the great players in college named Trae Young. And he had a player walking around with him, telling him how good he was, but he was a part of the team. And I didn't sense jealousy in the player. He was actually genuinely happy that his partner was so great at what he does. But usually this is not the typical way because people get jealous of the success of others. So I wondered, why was this person okay with pushing this man to be the best person? Well, the answer is they had a collective goal. And in college basketball, that goal was to win a championship. Now, when you ask a person what is their goal and they're just like, hey, I'm here, I'm existing, I'm just trying to be here, that's not a clear goal. Or if they say, well, I just want my family to be together, I want to have a family that doesn't break apart because my father abandoned me, that is not a clear goal. In fact, that latter statement might even be dangerous for the progression of a relationship because when you have a fear of loss, you begin to dabble in objectification. Objectification is when you see someone as an object and a possession. So once you start to have a fear of loss, you begin to choke out the individual or suffocate them because you're holding on to them so tight. And that's very dangerous. But let us continue. Find out how the person deals with a relationship they ended. And in business, this will be like, how does a person settle dispute? Because how a person ended a relationship and how they deal with each other afterwards is very imperative because it's really a direct sign on a person's character. Now, let's say you have a father and they break up, and the mother and the father break up, and the father doesn't see his children or doesn't give money for his children. This is a clear sign of objectification. That individual allowed children to be in a relationship in order to keep what he was trying not to lose. And when he lost what he was trying not to lose, he had no need for the children because they were only a tool used to preserve a relationship. Or let's say you have two parents. One parent has the children, the other one don't. If a parent that doesn't let the other parent see the children or holds them from the children, this is a direct sign of a manipulative and a vindictive person. So figure out how they ended their relationship and see how it will play out in your life. The world is not that complicated. Sometimes we complicate it because we want to romanticize or emotionally think that we can make things happen when the logic doesn't support our own personal decisions. All right. 3. I took this one from Andrea Gologlin, right? Andrea Gologlin is a positive psychologist, and she stated, go for the service provider and not the salesperson. Go for the service provider and not the salesperson. What are you talking about? Well, the romantic aspect of the relationship is the salesperson. They're trying to win you over, so they're basically telling you anything that would get you on board. You see that with car dealers. They sell you a hoopty, but they tell you how good this car is and how great it is. They're just trying to win you over. But the sales provider is focused on the person's experience and making sure that they're having the best experience that's possible. So, as a service provider, figure out how has this person provided service to others. And you might not want to go to the X in some aspects because they may have a little bit of taste and give you a biased explanation. But deal with people that are present in his life now or her life now, like her mother and father. If a person does not have a good relationship with their parents, usually they don't have the ability to create good relationships because they haven't seen a successful one that was near them. All right. 4, which is very important. Identify the roles in the relationship and how each role functions. Imagine going into a job and nobody knows who the manager is. There is no rules. Would that job be successful? Absolutely not. In traditional families, males are the managers or the bosses. Set up how the relationship will function and look at identifying the role, because if you identify a role, ladies, would you get with a man to manage and be a boss of your life if he can't manage his own life? Think business-like. Be business-minded with your decisions. This is an investment. You have children coming out of this lineage, and they're going to inherit ideas and concepts from the parents and apply it in their life, even if it doesn't work. Perfect example in the Bible, Abraham said, "This is my sister." She went into Pharaoh's house, and as a man, you know, Abraham was distraught. He was stressed. Then his son, Isaac, did the same thing, knowing it wouldn't work. So we inherited bad practices from our parents. So make sure that the person that you're getting with is capable of playing the role or the position that they need to play. All right, 5. Now 5 might be the most complicated one. Create a reward and accountability system. All right, so how do we go about creating a reward and accountability system? Because without rewards and accountability, there is no stability to the relationship. Now, this is where the romance comes into play. which would be the reward. We work hard, we establish our goals, we set immediate goals, near goals, and distant goals. If I do an immediate goal, let's say that in the relationship we agreed to, after I get off of work, I'm going to invest 3 hours in our own business or our own goals that we're working towards. Then you reward it with a social event. If we don't invest in our own goals or make progress into our own goals, then we have no social event. That's the accountability. And I know people as adults, they don't want to hear, oh, punishments or accountability or liability. We don't want to hear any of those words because you are an adult and you feel free. In a relationship, these things should be set up. So the immediate goal could have anything from a social event. The near goal can be things that you desired to purchase, such as a phone or a better computer or something that you really wanted if you accomplish that goal. Or even, heck, just spending money on things that's outside of your essential and core needs. And distant goals, if you create and you establish and you reach that distant goal, then you go on vacation. So now romance is actually now being placed on top of logic. So it's imperative to realize that this is a business. And in order for it to be successful, you have to place logic, and then the emotional reward comes later after you reach your goals. And be sure to meet at least once a week, and do not be scared to change things that aren't working. Remember, run it like a business. And on that last note and topic that we discussed, the rewards and accountability, it is not only limited to financial rewards, but it could also be upon treatment, how a person treats you. And if they don't treat you right, then they don't receive these rewards. Create a system that works for you. Protect yourself. But remember, relationships are a business. Hit the like button, and thank you very much, Spiritual Developers.